Welcome back, everybody. Video number 2. And I said on the last video, we are going to start this with a game. And I did not lie. Here is the game. I'm going to give you the opportunity to choose between the two options here. You can walk away with $10,000 guaranteed and don't play the game, or play the game that I'm about to propose. That is going to be option number 2. In my hand is an American quarter of a dollar, and I've got heads on the front, tails on the back. And the way the game works here is we start out with $2. Start with $2. And anytime I flip heads, the amount paid out doubles. And anytime that I flip tails, the game ends. That means if we start out the game and I flip tails, game over, you get paid $2. However, if I flip and it's heads, we get 4. If I flip again, we get heads, it's at 8. And then if it's tails, you get paid 8. But we will double this money until we get a tail. So we could go on forever in theory here. In perpetuity, this game can be played. Those are the rules. I said we would never stop. And so what I'm going to ask you to do here is we're going to have 2 answers I want you to come up with. One is I want you to go back and become an expected value maximizer. What would an expected value maximizer do? And so go back to the previous video. We're going to run through the same math. And then secondly, I want you to think about what would you actually do in real life if you were given this opportunity? Okay, so first of all, though, let's talk about expected value of this particular game. So now remember, we start this game and if we play it fair, there's no shenanigans. We get a tails. Okay, so there's a 50% chance. I don't have any great talent of flipping a coin or anything. It's 50% chance we would get a tail, and the game ends at $2. So if we're looking at expected value here, 50% times 2 gives us $1. Now imagine we do 1 heads. I flip heads, then I flip tails. So there's a 50% chance I would flip heads, and within that 50% chance is a 50% chance of the game ending again. Did you follow that? 50% chance of heads, and then 50% chance of ending again, which can be divided into a 1/4 chance of this happening, and the payout would end at $4. Same thing if we did 2 heads in a row and then a tails, that is a 1/8 chance or 12.5% chance. And that payout would be $8. And similarly, if we do 0, it's 6.25% chance. That is 1/16. That's a $16 payout. But now when we're saying we're an expected value maximizer. So we already said $2 times 50 cents is 1. 1/4 times 4 equals 1. 1/8 times 8 equals 1. 1/16 times 16 equals 1. Are you seeing the pattern yet? And the pattern might be my diagonal writing as well. But the other pattern here is we're starting to see an expected value. And I said we would play the game in perpetuity. So what that means is we would go on forever, and the expected value all the way down would be 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, all the way to infinity. So if we went all the way down, infinity is like a 8 or a snowman tipped on its side. So we'll write the infinity, and that's our expected value for option B. Expected value for option 1 is $10,000. So if we compare the expected value of infinity to 10,000, infinity wins all day long. And so expected value maximizers are playing the game because that's the expected value. But if you were making a real life decision here, what would you do in real life? You know what I would do? I'm taking that money. $10,000 is guaranteed. Now I'll walk you through the math. How many times do you have to flip heads before we were to actually break even or actually make money on this? So remember, if we get one heads, that gives us $4. So let's start there. There's 4, 8, 16, 32, 64 is 5, 128, 256, 512, 1,024, 2,048 is 10, 4,096 is 11, 8,192 is 12, and on the 13th, we would get 2 over 16,000 on the 13th heads in a row. Now, when I look at that, I go, no way, I'm taking $10,000 guaranteed. This is called the St. Petersburg Paradox. This was established back in the 1800s, where it was established that, look, we can't always use expected value in our decision making. That's just not always the rational thing. And so what we can conclude, though, from this St. Petersburg Paradox is that maximizing expected value doesn't always look to be very rational now. And what it also gives us here is it tells me that not all money or dollars are created equal. I'm going to say money. So regardless of what currency you are in, not all money is created equal. And what do I mean by that? Well, bring this back to happiness, bring this back to our overall well-being. And I'll ask you, if I were to give you or a college student $10,000 or whatever the equivalent is, 10,000 US dollars in your currency, what would that do to your happiness? What would that do to change your day or your well-being? And I want you to compare that to, what if we did the same thing and we gave $10,000 to Elon Musk or to Warren Buffett? Now, I'm not saying that they would be mad about it. I don't think their well-being or their happiness would diminish or go down, but certainly there has to be some sort of function that tells us that all money is not created equal, that it is not created equal, that our function does not go in a straight line to infinity. So what we did is we said, all right, let's come up with a utility function instead of the value function that makes it look more like this, where we have state at first. So if you give somebody with $0, $10,000, they're going to be really happy. You give somebody with $1 million, yeah, they'll be happy, but not as much as somebody with no money. And then you give somebody with $1 billion, $10,000, and their utility marginally, only very small, increases. And so now in our next video, we're going to look at this utility function. And once we lay that down, we're going to break it down again because we're in behavioral finance. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next video.